called life. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning and making the most of your day. We appreciate you so very much for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. And as I said, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, we thank you for your patience here. And Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown striped building, their double-decker cafe in Manlius, which I call the Manlius Welcome Center. So, a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life, and thank you so much as always for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. However, you're tuning in inside of Central and Upstate New York, on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and so much more. So we appreciate you, and all around the world. So we appreciate you for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show, and you're here with us on Facebook.com, MixLR.com, and YouTube.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. You're also here with us on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So however you're connected with us, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. As I said, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate you spending some time, giving us some patience here this morning in studio. We appreciate having you here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So, jam-packed show set up for you and ready to go with two awesome specials. You know, on Wednesday, to start off the broadcast, we have Dolphin Time, and every first and third Wednesday of each month featuring AD and DT, and with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the opportunity to bring you Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. And today, we're bringing you a double dose, and that will start off first with AD and DT. So we're bringing you both this week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. AD and DT, Bob Beretta, and I will bring you the topic, being thankful. What we're thankful for, not just this holiday season, but all year round. So we give a true look at LeMoyne on the Heights and what we're thankful for in a very heartfelt AD and DT, as they always are. And this one jumping in to even deeper what we are thankful for. And right after that, following, we will have the Dolphin Dive special from the pool, truly a Dolphin Dive, with Adam Zaczkowski, the head coach of the LeMoyne men's and women's swimming and diving teams. He'll be joining me to tell his story about his journey. I was with him for the exclusive first interview when he accepted the job as head coach, and now we have the opportunity to talk a few months in to his time at LeMoyne as head coach of the men's and women's swimming and diving team, and how it's gone this season, his journey, different things that he does as a leader, things that he's learned, things that he's changed and altered, what they do to celebrate on many different things, you know, in the pool and out of the pool, and how he keeps things positive. There's so many layers to the leadership conversation we're about to have with Adam Zaczkowski, so make sure you tune in for that. And then in hour number 2, we'll do what we always do on a Wednesday and bring you the fantasy football power hour coming to you from the Wildcat Sports Pub. So make sure you're connecting with us in hour number 2 as well. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will be back momentarily to have our conversations back to back with Bob Beretta first in AD and DT, followed by Adam Zaczkowski in Dolphin Dive. Both LeMoyne specials, both part of our exclusive content with the LeMoyne College Dolphins in our multimedia marketing partnership, all inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' here inside of the Cafe Kubal studio. So stay with us through this fast break and hear from our incredible partners in the community. And when we come back here, you'll have the opportunity to hear from Bob Beretta in AD and DT, followed by Adam Zaczkowski in our all-new Dolphin Dive. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us here on the broadcast as we are getting set to air our special here with Bob Beretta with an all-new AD and DT sharing thanks, and we appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora where sports meets that thing called life. And here on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we get set, like I said, to have Bob Beretta join us here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're getting that set up here for you. And as we get that set here on the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, you'll see here on the show as we have just in a little bit with Adam Zaczkowski going to be joining us in just a short while. Once he has our conversation here on the broadcast, we're going to move forward from there and have an opportunity to be joined inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour to bring you our fantasy football content here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So very excited to do that with you and to be able to bring you that, and always looking forward to all the great things we get to do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora where sports truly meets that thing called life. So thanks for hanging out with us here on the show. You can find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT 24/7. So make sure you go out and do that.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So now we have the opportunity to bring you the special here on the show.
Yeah. Let me just turn this.
And so here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, to be able to have an opportunity to bring this to you. Welcome back here for a new edition of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. We have gotten to celebrate a lot here on the Heights, and as we have come out of Thanksgiving and we head into Christmas and the holiday season, it's important to address what we're thankful for, especially in a world that can sometimes tend to focus on the negative. So we're going to focus on the positive today and bring you a positive message. Bob, how are you?
I'm excellent, Dan. How are you today?
Doing very well. So, Bob, when you look at your time here at LeMoyne and everything that we've seen beyond wins and losses, what have you been most grateful for and most thankful for?
Boy, it's a long list, Dan. To be candid, there are so many things to be thankful for here at LeMoyne. I would start with our student athletes. They are spectacular. They're everything that I thought they would be when I decided to accept this position back in December of 2020. It's almost 2 years to the day today, and our student athletes just never cease to amaze me how they're able to balance so many different things in their lives, and more importantly, how mindful they are of making a difference in our community. We were just talking this week at a coaches meeting, and we have completed over 2,000 hours of community service this semester. This semester, that's phenomenal. We have 21 sport teams here, and to be honest, 6 of those are really the cross-country and track and field teams that we count multiple times. So I think there's 17 different programs, 2,100 community service hours, and we still have the whole second semester to go through. So it just shows you to the degree in which our students are making a difference in the community. It's important to us, it's important to our coaches, and it's important to our student athletes. So I'm most thankful for our student athletes. I'm also thankful for our staff that work so hard to support our student athletes' pursuit of comprehensive excellence, and that starts at the top with President Lemura. I'm so thankful to her and grateful for the opportunity first to work at LeMoyne and lead the athletic department here. and then her leadership team of vice presidents, Joe Grasso, Tim Lee, and so many others there. I'm grateful for all of their support, and our head coaches, our staff, that make all this happen on a daily basis. I'm the face of the program as the athletic director, but it's really people like Tim Fenton and Jen Fabian, Liza Hilligas, Scott Peterson, Craig Lane. I'm going to leave out members, I'm sure, of my senior staff and workers like Mike Robinson and James McGlynn and Kevin Turry and so Gabby Bordenaro and so many people that you might not know their names or their faces, but they're the ones that bring our students' work to life, through our mobile sites and our social media platforms. So I'm so grateful to all of our staff and how hard they work and how committed and dedicated they are to the mission of the institution and the mission of the athletic department.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's teamwork makes the dream work, and the reality of finding good people. And I said that to you when you first got here, of me coming onto campus and just walking around campus, is I pay attention to the places that when you step foot on them, when you walk by people and it's just you and them on a sidewalk, do they look down, do they listen to their headphones, or do they say hello? And when you're on LeMoyne's campus, from students, student athletes, to coaches, to teachers, to administrators, that's what you get. You get the, hi, how are you? And I'll never forget, I was coming out of doing a piece with Dr. Linda Lemura, and I walked out of the building, and as I'm coming out of the building, there was a teacher there, and I held the door for him, and he said, thank you. We started talking just a few steps down the way. He asked me what I did. He wished me luck in my career, sent me an email, because I gave him a business card, sent me an email, said, it was great to have met you, sent me this long email about hoping the best for you and wanting the best for you. And he was a stranger, except for those 5 minutes. And to get such a kind and generous note to say, hey, appreciate meeting you, hope everything goes well, hope things work out for you, wishing you all the best. That to me, it says a lot about the people that are here on the Heights, and I wear it. I was down in Florida with it this past week, and that's courtesy of Nate Champion and his staff that finally got me one of those Heights warm-up workouts things that we have, because I told him, I saw it last year, and I said, what do I have to do to get the Heights? Because that's the one that I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I'll give Nate credit, but Ben Swank definitely came through on his way and the staff, so thank you to that. But there's working with people that you have to work with, and then there's working with people that is the only thing that I do with my business, is that you choose to work with. And choosing to work with the Heights and having the Heights choose me, I wear that as a badge of honor. There's a reason why I wear those hats when I'm in and out of state. There's a reason why I put LeMoyne stuff on proudly, because I want people to ask me about it. I want people to stop me about it, and I want people to know about it. There's a reason why the 50-year celebration of Magic Kingdom had my LeMoyne hat draped all over it. And there's a lot to be said about that, Bob, because working with you these past couple of years, and Dr. Linda Lemura and everybody here at LeMoyne, I have found that, and I said this when we had the Christmas party for my company, the bar set so high with people like yourself and the wonderful people here, that now I'm not just looking for good partners with colleges and universities, I'm looking for places that mirror LeMoyne, and to your credit, it's hard to find.
Well, it speaks to the institution, Dan. When I stepped foot on campus considering applying to LeMoyne for this position, the thing that struck me the most was the authenticity of people and how meaningful those relationships could be, how deep you could go, and it's true. Our people here are authentic. Yeah. They are kind. They're genuine, and it starts from the top down. It starts with, as I mentioned, President Lemura, and that struck me as I wanted to come to a place and work with people I really enjoyed working with and for, and that's certainly been the case. And we talked about our staff, the people that really make things happen on a daily basis, people that come out to our events. There's folks like Eric McCall, right, in our leadership team, who's working every event behind the scenes to make sure that our facilities are ready to rock and roll. Dave Willard and the recreation side of things, and we've done such a great job making the pool available to the community and the gyms and our weight rooms, and those people, those are names and faces that you don't see every day. And then we have people like Steve Evans and Gianna Dixie that are out there in the community trying to talk to our constituents and trying to gain more support for our student athletes. So I think first and foremost, when you think about LeMoyne, you think about authenticity, you think about our mission, our Jesuit values, the kindness of the people here, what we're about, making a difference in the community. I talk all the time to folks about LeMoyne's kind of Syracuse's hometown team. We have so many graduates and alums and students, current students, that come to LeMoyne from the area within a 45-minute drive, and they remain in the area, making a difference in all sectors of society following graduation. So there's a lot to take pride in. We are Syracuse's hometown team, I like to say that, but we're always trying to spread our wings, grow our footprint, and thank you to you for going all the way down to Florida to try to expand our footprint and extend our brand. And it's something that we're very mindful, because we're very proud of that brand, because it's who we are and we live it on a daily basis.
Well, there's a lot of dolphins that swim down in Florida, so I had to make sure that they were wearing the right colors. That's all it is.
That's correct.
So that when people see them on their cruises, they're like, oh, okay, green and gold. So
The real Dolphins.
Yes, that's got to make sense.
Not the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins from Central New York.
Yeah, there's a fins up and there's a fins up.
That's
So
correct.
there's a difference to that. We're going to play a thankful edition of Rapid Fire.
Okay.
So you're going to get 3 questions. I'm going to get 3 questions. Nothing pre-planned here. Bob can ask me anything he wants. I can ask him anything I want. But it has to have a connection to thankfulness or appreciation. So I'll start it off. What movie, all time, are you most thankful for that you could watch every day?
Yeah, I think it's my favorite movie, and it's Field of Dreams.
Okay.
And just because the connection between a father and a son, it's my father was my best friend, and baseball binded us at a young age, and so I don't think I can watch that movie and not tear up and think of my dad and think about other fathers and sons and relationships. I know how important family is to you, Dan, and the relationship with you and your dad. So I think it's very relatable, and it's transformative in my life, but it also transcends baseball. It's more about life than baseball,
Yeah.
but I'm a huge baseball fan, so that helps.
Okay, I like it. That's a great answer and a reason. Your first one for me.
My first question for you, what are you most thankful for this past year that spawned from something that you had no intent or no expectation going in, that it was going to be something that was so important in your life?
That's a good question. So what am I thankful for that I didn't think was going to, be there necessarily? I would say that sometimes they say that be thankful to unanswered prayers. And God either didn't answer, well, I would say God didn't answer the prayers the way that I wanted him to answer originally. And there were things this year, unexpected blessings, that things that didn't work out in my life, and paths that I thought I was going down that I didn't go down, were helpful, life-saving, and really reminded me of who I am. So I think he took situations and people out that made me remember who I am, because I get caught up a lot in wanting to help people and forgive people and do things for people, which I think is good, but there's a fine line between opening a door to someone and being the doormat. And I think this year God taught me that he did not raise a doormat. So I appreciate that.
Excellent.
My second one for you, the food so if you were on, so this is similar to something you heard me get asked before, if you were on death row, the food you're most thankful for that would be your last meal.
Yeah. So my mother immigrated from Italy at a very young age and brought with her some family recipes, shall we say. And one is an Italian specialty dish called polenta.
Yeah.
And she's from northern Italy, and it's a little bit different. There's cornmeal and potatoes and cheese and salami and sausage and all of this kind of bound together on a stove into one kind of big pot of goodness. And I get, my mother is 84 now, and she stands about 5'2", and it's very difficult to gain leverage because you have to pull this over. So I help her now when it's time to make the polenta, but without question, my mother's potato polenta would be the #1 meal, and my close second would be her gnocchi, potato gnocchi that she makes.
2 correct answers, because Italian food is always the right answer. So I like that. I got to try it now. Definitely the polenta, because I've never had it.
Yeah, potato polenta, because
Potato
there are
polenta,
2.
yeah.
One is just pretty much cornmeal, the other has potato and cornmeal and just a whole bunch of things that you'll be regretful in the morning that you ate, but you will enjoy every moment while you eat it.
Always worth it. Always worth it. All right, I like that answer. What's your second one?
My second one for you is, what came into your life this year that you're most grateful for that wasn't in your life last year?
I would say some friendships. I would definitely say God surprises you in the people that show up. And, I would say, you said this year, because if you didn't say this year, you said in general, and I'm not saying this because we're on the air, but our bond, it's so valuable to me, and it's to the point where, friends and family, they'll say to me, if they see us around each other, they're like, wow, you really have something unique there and special, and I know my parents value the bond that we have. So I would definitely say our growing bond, because there's no other Bob Beretta. I try to find them. I do. I try to find people and go, okay, can you do this like this? And they don't, and then you're like, there's only one Bob. But no, I would say that our bond is something that I'm very, very grateful for around Christmas and really all year round, because it's just different, The people that are in your life that are irreplaceable are the ones that are really those gifts. And I know I haven't said this to you on or off the air before, but hopefully you know it from things I have said, is I do consider you irreplaceable.
Well, thank you. I do the same. I feel the same, and our bond is special and irreplaceable, and I'm part of my blessings coming here. I talk about our staff and the people I get a chance to work with and for every day, but also the people that maybe aren't directly associated with LeMoyne. So many people in the community, and you're atop that list for sure.
Thank you for that very much. So appreciate that. Let's go to a comedic one.
Okay.
The comedian that you are most thankful for that makes you laugh every time.
Great question. Great question.
You can say me. It's fine.
Someone who we don't have a regular spot with on wake up call.
Yeah.
Who just breaks me up every time? I was a big Steve Martin fan at one point in time, with the older comedians, but I love Kenan Thompson.
Okay.
Saturday Night Live. He just he kills me. I'll watch the show just for his skits and get disappointed when he might have a smaller role on any week's given show. But when I see his face, I just light up. He makes me laugh. He seems like such a lighthearted individual. I don't think if he were to walk in this room, I'd be able to keep a straight face for more than 5 seconds, because I just envision all the different roles that he had. And I'm an old school Saturday Night Live with Belushi and Aykroyd and all those comedians from the original. So I think Kenan Thompson's brilliant, and I would list him right now as one of my favorite comedians.
I love that you said that, because I grew up watching Kenan on All That on Nickelodeon, which turned into Kenan and Kel. And then when I went to Rockefeller Center and I was walking in the NBC building, walking out of the building simultaneously with a guitar was Kenan Thompson. And I thought that was insane, because I loved watching him as a kid. Yeah. And I do agree, he's very funny. His Jeopardy skits are incredible.
Just incredible. So, I laugh now. You just mentioned his name and his kid.
He did one when Chadwick was still playing T'Challa, the Black Panther, and he was talking with him and asking him questions. That, to me, my buddy Isaac said to me, is one of my favorite skits from Kenan.
Yeah, he's tremendous. I have another one for you now. It's really about the holidays, and we all have traditions and family traditions, and so I'm curious what you're most grateful. What is the holiday tradition in the Tortora household that you're most grateful for?
I would say it's changed over time. It has, but it hasn't. So on Christmas Eve, we would always go to my grandparents on my dad's side, Christmas Day, we would go to my mom's parents. And now with my parents not being together, Christmas Eve is with my dad, Christmas Day is with my mom. So it's still like the same, you know, mix. And I would say what I value with my dad is we do a play on the seven fishes that is an Italian tradition, and we have 4 that we do because it's just us. But we get to cook together, and that's a lot of fun for me. And I make my grandmother's rigot pie, my dad's mom, my Gammy Miller. And then on my mom's side, what I love is that she lives in the house that my grandparents lived in before. So we still have Christmas Day in the same house. She made it her own. So on the outside, it's like, oh, this is Grandma and Grandpa's house. On the inside, she's made it Debbie's house. And we still, with my aunt and my cousins, just like when we were kids, we still go there Christmas Day, we still eat together, and we still sit under the Christmas tree and open gifts together to this day. And I've done it my whole life. So we've kept traditions together. The Italian wedding soup, you know, that my aunt makes, and that was my grandma. So my grandmothers on both sides are very much at the table and sitting with my dad by the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve, and then sitting with my mom on Christmas Day with my cousins that are like brothers to me, and opening gifts together is what we do with my grandma. So and my grandfather. So a lot's changed, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
So I think we keep them all alive, and the cool thing about it is, when we're all sitting there together, I literally see my grandma and my grandpa's going like this.
Yeah,
it's like they're behind us, just kind of there with us. So I'm grateful for the life that I have, where I know the ones in heaven are here, and I know the ones on earth. We're paying tribute to them. So all the time.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. And I love that I have my dog. And my dog likes to wear clothes, and people are like, I didn't picture you as the guy that would put clothes, and I don't. She likes them.
Yeah.
She wants them. She will growl for them. And she's, you know, and I don't care what anybody says, my dog is cuter than any other dog out there.
Of course. So you gotta give her what she wants.
Yeah, and she's like the sweetest thing in the
Style.
world. Yeah. And so she has a Jaguars jersey.
I'm sure she does.
You know, and she also has, where I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so her and I have matching dragon, and which House House Targaryen, which is the dragons, and House Stark, which are like the wolves. So I have like matching shirts with my pup, and I love waking up on Christmas morning and having her sit, and she opens gifts herself. So I got a good daughter, and she never forward to the mornings when her and I have some like absolute quiet time just sitting under the tree together.
Yeah, and I'm most grateful for my family as well. The health of my family, my mother, my sister, my wife, Jen, and my daughter Julia, who's working in athletic communications office in the athletic department at Penn State. I'm grateful for the support that they've provided to me over the years, memory of my father, all those things that are with me every day, but certainly the driving force behind anything that I'm able to accomplish in life is due to their strength and certainly God's blessings. So all those things I'm most grateful for.
Final note, if Dad was here right now, what do you think he would say?
Dad would be proud. Yeah, he got me choked up a little bit. He would be proud. My dad came to all my games, was an athlete, came to all my games. I worked at West Point when I was a young professional, and I'm sure he'd be here cheering on the Dolphins every time that they step foot on the court or on the field. So he would be proud, and I'm proud of everything that he accomplished in life, and he provided me the opportunity to grow and expand beyond kind of what his dreams for me were, and forever grateful and blessed to have Robert James Beretta as my father.
Coming from Bob Beretta, with a lot of love for Robert James Beretta as well, and the family here at LeMoyne, the Finn family, and family in general. This has been an all-new edition of AD&DT. Thank you for being with us during Dolphin Time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. AD&DT every first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. and every second and fourth at Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You're getting a double dose this edition now. You have AD&DT, and coming up next, Adam Zaczkowski and I come to you from the pool and there's that ambient sound in the pool. It's a very interesting studio to be in, but I couldn't think of anywhere else to be. It also made me feel like I was still in Florida. So stay tuned for that, and as always, Bob, fins up.
Fins up, Dan.
We'll talk with you soon.
Look forward to it.
So that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, from one special in Dolphin time to another, AD and DT on what we are thankful for, and we now shift over to our Dolphin Dive special with head coach of the men's and women's swimming and diving teams, Adam Zaczkowski. Welcome here to an all-new edition of the Dolphin Dive. Very excited to be here with you, and of course, during Dolphin time, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. First and third Wednesday of each month is AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, as in this, we have the Dolphin Dive, and we have the opportunity to feature student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. So I'm here with Adam Zaczkowski of LeMoyne history as a LeMoyne student athletes with the swimming and diving team, and of course as an assistant, and now on his first season as the head coach of the LeMoyne men's and women's swimming and diving team. So with that being said, Adam, how are you?
Well, Dan, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to have you here, back on the heights at the pool.
Yeah, and I love it here. I love this experience. Within this room, it is not winter. Within this room, it's got like that sauna feel, that warm feel. The pool looks beautiful. Everything in here is immaculate. I am transformed down to Florida when I'm in here. So you are my way of staying in an eternal summer, I guess I'll say.
It might not be sunny, but we're always 82, humid. It's great. It's never winter inside here.
That's absolutely a beautiful experience. And speaking of beautiful experiences, we've been able to tell so many stories here with LeMoyne College and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. I got to stand here with you and be the exclusive interview of when you accepted the job. So from the moment when that happened and you accepted this position to now, we've had some months here in between, and just what the journey's been like for you.
It's been a quick and long 6 months. When we first met back in May, we're kind of tailoring down the school year. The students were on their way out.
Yeah.
Summer was coming in, so it was a natural kind of calm period here. And as we transitioned through the summer, got back to the school, getting up and going, at the end of August we had our first practice. Early September had our first practice. We've been going since that point, and it's been long days, long nights, but it's been tremendous in terms of athletic performance.
And we look at the meets that you've had up to this point, just what you can say about what you've seen from the men's and women's and swimming and diving teams as you've embarked on this season, and as you've had an opportunity to see what those long nights and long days have turned into. How has it been so far?
Well, I'd like to tell people that we work half days around here. We work 12 hours, usually it's about 5:30 to 5:30, maybe longer, especially once you get into the recruiting season. But those days, Coach Hanna did a tremendous job over his 33 years here, really kind of building a foundation both of cultural expectations, work ethic, and we've kind of dovetailed that a little bit. And some of the big changes that we've made up until this point, kind of flip-flop the schedule around. And so what does that mean? We used to be primarily an afternoon swim team, so we'd have our practices at the end of the day after classes end. Well, what we realized, kind of based on my expertise here at LeMoyne, is that there are no classes every day between 6 and 8 a.m. And so there's no conflicts between 6 and 8 a.m. So we, from day one, we've been going 6 in the morning, and it's been a big time shift. But yeah, we got some pushback here and there, but the athletes have taken it in stride and really been spectacular in their effort. And getting 18 to 22-year-old college students awake before noon is hard. 6 a.m. is even harder.
Yeah, but doing that and knowing that you get to start your day off with being with your team, having that camaraderie and that connection, like you said, hard to get up early, some pushback in the beginning, but have you seen that the student athletes have seen the value?
Yeah, swimming is an endurance sport, both physically and emotionally. You don't get anything quick out of swimming. And so certainly those early weeks in September where we were getting up at 6:15, there was a lot of pushback. Why are we doing this? For what purpose? And getting people to buy in and be committed at that 6:15 time slot, that makes them commit on the weekends too.
Yeah.
And so when we get to our swim meets, and we had our mid-season championship here last weekend at Ithaca College, we had season best or lifetime best swims on every person on the team. Male, female, didn't matter if it was short events, long events, everybody had season best or lifetime best. And it all came to a head that weekend.
And when you look back on that, what do you think attributed to season best, lifetime best across your teams?
Well, we talk here at LeMoyne Swimming kind of two different ways. One, it's a partnership between me and my coaching staff and the swimmers.
Yeah.
We don't tell them to do things. We work together with them to get them to a common goal. And then we also talked about kind of three things that we focus on in day-to-day thing. And if you do these three things, you will be successful not only today, but everything in life. You have to be successful. You have to train and compete hard. And you have to do all those things with integrity. If you do those three things, we know that we'll be successful in the pool and on the pool.
And how do you define success? Because, you know, it's easy to look at it in wins and losses, right? But if life was just about wins and losses, there would be so many losers. Everybody would have lost.
Right.
So how do you define success beyond wins and losses?
Success in swimming typically has to do with, did I get faster?
Okay.
Was I able to do the distance that I do in a faster time? Typically speaking, that's how we define success. You know, in the broader swimming world, success, unfortunately, is sometimes defined as who got top three at the Olympic Games, right? Because we know who got first, second, and third in those medals. We don't remember that fourth place person.
Right.
But success here on the heights is different. We have success Sundays and things that happened in the week that have nothing to do sometimes about swimming. Who got into grad school? Who got accepted to an internship? Who had, got an A in a paper? So the successes are both academically and athletically here. And yes, wins and losses and dual meet records are easy to track, but there's always little wins every day.
And you talk about success Sundays. Is that something that you implemented?
So of course someone's swimming now, so we got to get the full picture. So one of the changes we made when I took over is we took it in the mornings. It was a trade. We do 5 mornings a week, but I give them their Friday afternoon off.
Yeah.
They get Saturday off. But now we have practice on Sunday, and so we kind of. Those are special practices, those Sunday things, because that's what we talk about our success Sundays. Is what do we do the previous week, and what are we going to do the following week?
You know, and as you dovetail those to say, this is what we have done, this is what we're planning to do, but to have that moment in the middle to say, let's be proud of something, let's be happy about something that could have to do with swimming, or could have something to do with personal life, or, student life in general. How vital is that for you to have that dovetail where you come out of a week that might have been stressful, might have been hard? Maybe somebody had someone pass away. Maybe somebody didn't get into grad school, or maybe something happened in the swimming that they were down on themselves about. So to find the positive, to start and restart and refresh, just how important it is for that. Because I feel like as Americans, a lot of us just keep going, right? Just keep going. But a lot of people don't stop at the end of the week and say, what am I happy about? What am I proud of? What can I build on? So how have you found that to be a gift that keeps on giving, to come out of a week, find something good to carry to the next week?
There's a lot in that question, Dan. I'm going to have to think about it. There's a lot there. But when we talk about swimming and success in swimming, You can swim hundreds and thousands of yards, and the difference of being, quote, faster is 6 inches. And so we have to come up with ways to define that success through little things. Did you do more push-ups this time? Did we do a test and you went faster for longer?
Yeah.
You know, when we have those Sundays and we have the ability to reflect and we have the ability to kind of take a breath, it lets us live in the moment. We don't worry about what happened yesterday. We don't worry about kind of what's happening next, tomorrow. It's right now. What's our focus right now? We work with a group out of Pittsburgh called Transcendent Coaching, and they've talked to us about this notion of winning. It's not winning who gets first, it's what's important now. And on Sundays, it's about winning. What's important now to get us ready to go for the week.
And for you to discover the importance, what have you found to be most important that you've leaned on in this opportunity as a head coach, that within these last few months you've sat back and said, okay, you know what? I thought maybe this list of things was important, but I didn't know about this. Like, how do you combine? Because I find when you work to be a leader and not a follower, you have the things you think are important, and some of them continue to be, and then some of them leave the list, and then you have that list of things that you didn't anticipate were going to take so much importance. So what's your important list look like right now?
Okay, so before I got into coaching, this was after I graduated from LeMoyne, I got into the corporate world, and one of the things that the sales manager I had at the time talked to me about was life is about juggling. Everything's a big juggling act. And you have rubber balls and you have glass balls. And the rubber balls, when you're juggling, you can drop because they're going to bounce back up and they're going to go right back in the cycle. Glass balls can't drop. You can't drop them or they're going to break, right? So what does that mean? It means that rubber balls tend to be kind of when we talk about practice planning, it's not necessarily what am I going to do today. Maybe that rubber ball is like, what's tomorrow? We could spend a little bit of time on that later in the afternoon. What's important now? Well, I have an athlete right now that has the flu, and how is she going to deal with her classes? Because we have finals coming up next week. How are we going to help her? She can't really be around people. How are we going to help her get the books, the food, all the other things that we have to do to get her successful? So our what to-do list has a lot to do with things that there's aspirational things like you have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And there are things that have to get done today. And so for us, it's a constant to-do list, but we like to call it an accomplishment list.
Yeah, and I love that, and I value what you said about the rubber ball and the glass ball. As soon as you said those two things, I thought the glass ball, the undroppable, is your health.
Yeah.
Right? Your wellness. You talked about a player who is out sick, and what do you do to make sure that they have what they need? The glass ball, a lot of us think is a rubber ball. We can just drop it, right? We don't need to sleep. We don't need to eat healthy. We don't need to take care of our bodies. We don't need to exercise because we have all these things we have to do and all this work that we have to do that we have to get done. I've realized that glass ball of health, wellness, with all the things that I do in my day, in my week, my month, my year, that I was dropping that glass ball. Have you had to check yourself wellness-wise and say, when you're working half days of 12 hours, that, you know what, I can't drop this glass ball, I need to sleep, I need to eat, I need to have a regimen that is going to structure myself to make sure that I'm taking care of me, because I can't be a good coach, a good leader, a good teacher, a good friend, a good husband, a good everything, if I'm not taking care of the health side. Because I feel, again, as Americans, we used to laugh at other countries that would work all day, sleep at work, get up 2 hours later and go back to it, but we've kind of become that society.
Right. It went from swimming to kind of more of a overwhelming or overarching kind of conversation, and I appreciate that. I know that if I'm going to be a good father, a good husband, and a good mentor to my athletes, I need to take care of myself first, right? So yes, that means I have to go to bed. That means that we have quiet hours we've established where yes, The student athletes have access to me many hours a day, but there are times during that day where I need to be focused on myself, my 2 boys, and Erin, my wife. And so we started that back in August. But when you put yourself first with health and well-being, sometimes you get this feeling of being selfish. Like I have to do this for me. I can't deal with you right now. But what I've realized is that if I don't do that, then I'm not only harming myself, but I'm not giving you that attention that you need. And so it's important that by taking care of myself first, it allows me to cast a wider net and help more people.
Yeah, and I love that you said cast a wider net when we talk about the pool and all the things that are going on here.
Yep.
You mentioned Erin and your boys.
Yep.
How have you adjusted as a family to being a head coach?
Well, luckily, I found the right girl, and she was a swimmer her entire life. So, it's one of those things, Dan, that I don't really know what to do with myself in the evening other than swim, because I've been doing that for 30 years. I don't really know what else to do with myself in the weekends other than swim, because I've been doing that for 30 years. Prior to 2019, when I came on staff here, I was the head age group coach of a local swim team called the Syracuse Chargers. And so swimming and this lifestyle has been kind of what I've done professionally for a long time. What I didn't know was now the head coach, there are all these things that pull me in all different directions. And if I don't prioritize myself like we talked about, or my children, or my family, then somehow kind of that work seeps in and kind of steals your attention. So it's constantly focusing on winning, what's important now, and lots of times I ask my children, especially after 5:30.
Yeah. So you learn, you grow, you evolve, and then you need to live, and so there's a lot of beautiful things that come with that. Adam Zaczkowski here with us, LeMoyne men's and women's swimming and diving. We're in the pool. I love the atmosphere in here, and I do. I want to jump in right now, but I really like my suit. I do, and I have made. Maybe we need to do this or something together. But I've made predictions before where I will jump in the pool if I lose or if I win. So we might have to put something together for that.
Well, the big tradition in the swimming world is after that big race or you win the conference or something big happens, you always got to push the coaches. And that's the big thing that the kids look forward to, the student athletes look forward to. So I'm hoping that we're going to have one of those moments where I get that push in the pool, because it's special when you get those days.
And I love that it's a play on the Gatorade, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a play on the Gatorade, but instead of the water being thrown on you, you get thrown into the water.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Which is really, really cool here. So, final note, as we are here in season, you talked about the mid-season meet and opportunity that you just had here recently at IFCA. So how do you go forward from here, and what can you say about where the teams are at,
right,
and what the rest of this journey is going to look like?
So in the swimming world, it never really ends and it never really starts. It's a continual process. So where do we go from last weekend? Well, we got yesterday off, and we're getting today off because we need some recovery. But tomorrow morning, 6:15, back in the water, right? Refocusing everybody to get to Northeast 10 championships in February. Right? So it started in August and it continues. In my office, Dan, I have a 120-day planner, so we're already planning out to April 5th at this point. So we're just continuing to keep that ball rolling. But practically, you have to tell the swimmers and the divers, this is where we're going, this is what the calendar looks like, this is what you can expect, because we talk about that partnership. What do they need, what do they want, and how do we build in a plan that makes sense? So practically, we have practice until the end of the week. Finals are next week. Everybody gets about a 10-day break at that point. And once we come back on December 27th, the morning, we're going to fly out to Tampa. Not quite Orlando where you habitate all the time, but Tampa, a little bit west there. Yeah. And
St. Pete's Beach is my favorite beach on the planet.
We're going to Largo.
Okay, all right.
So, there you go, yeah. So we'll be down there from the 28th of December to the 4th of January. Fly back, we are training period at that point. Back into dual meets, starting off January 10th at Alfred University. We have our senior night on January 13th here against Nazareth. Two more meets after that, and then we get focused on conference championships that second weekend in February at Worcester Polytech in Massachusetts.
And I love the fact that right after Christmas, you're going south. Very smart.
Yes.
And I believe that I may be around that area around the same time.
All right.
Maybe Florida, maybe Texas, might be somewhere in that world. But I always try to find my way down to Florida and I love the Tampa area and love what I get to do down there. So very much looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Before we finish up this edition of Dolphin Dive, I find it imperative to mention something. And that you witnessed the leadership from. When you look at your swimmers and you look at your divers, who can you say at this point has really stood out and started to create an atmosphere? Because I believe that I call them leadership layers, right? So on a team, there's the leadership layers. There's you as a head coach who's supposed to be at the top of that lasagna, so to speak, right? And then there's these other layers of people that come in and find their place in the lasagna. So how do you see your leadership layers right now?
Oh, good. Set me up to definitely forget someone, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I put it in a lasagna, though.
Yeah,
So
no, I know.
if you forget an ingredient, what you say is that it's your mom's lasagna, and she doesn't give you all the ingredients because she can't let you know the whole recipe.
Exactly. So the secret sauce, right?
Yeah.
So I think that leadership starts with my coaching colleagues.
Okay.
Victoria Breslin, our grad assistant, this is her first season with us, and she has really taken the bull by the horn. She's helped us organize things. She's helped us kind of get a different point of view because she's out of college swimming 2 years, so she remembers what these guys are going through. Ben Verdi, our assistant coach, been out of college swimming now for about 10 years, but he's still hungry and he wants to get things going. So those guys are really kind of helped pressing us forward. And then from a student athlete standpoint, obviously that leadership is with our senior captains, and you know they're grizzly old veterans. They've been there and done that. And what they've helped me do is really kind of get to that pulse of the team. Hey, coach, you know we're really struggling today. Can we do some yoga? Can we do stretching? We're getting a lot of physical pain. Okay, yeah, let's have a course change. So they've really stepped up this year. And then we have our underclassmen, and those individuals. We have juniors who are starting to take the reins of the leadership next year. We have our sophomores who are just finding their footing in college. They've gone through the mess of freshman year, and they're like, this is old hat, but they get that clarity. And then we have our freshmen, and well, they're swimmers. They've been doing this a long time, but they haven't had the ability, or they haven't been required to juggle getting themselves places and having to make all their own decisions. And so you see the leadership like them taking control of themselves,
Yeah.
and then making others accountable once they figure that out.
Do you feel in the world of swimming and diving, because in other sports, we could see a senior get ousted by a freshman.
Yep.
Is it more true in swimming and diving that when your freshmen come in and you have your sophomores, juniors, seniors, that you're truly building, and some people can maybe jump up, but do you think it's a more true approach of leveling up as you go through your time in school as opposed to, watching a basketball game where a true freshman could be out right away?
So swimming and diving are two separate sports, even though they're all together, right?
Yeah.
So we'll take kind of the swimming side of this first. The beautiful part about swimming is it's completely objective. You can do this time in this distance, and I can do this time in this distance, and it very quickly sets up a depth chart, and it doesn't matter what school, what year in school you are. So as a freshman, you can come in and you can be the fastest on the team. And really, when we're looking at bringing in recruits, we're looking and bringing in people that are going to be immediate contributors.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. And so we're really proud of the people that we have coming in next year. Diving is different. Diving diving is a subjective sport. So you do your dive, and then you have officials who then judge you on a numerical basis. And so what we found with our diving is that is kind of that progression. So Justin Byrne, who made the national diving qualification meet as a freshman in 2021, he already qualified for the 2020, this season, 22-23 diving qualification. And we can see him progressing. He's getting stronger. We see him hitting the dives cleaner. We see the fundamentals becoming more finite. And so I see that in diving more than swimming, but everybody can make a contribution every day.
Final note, do you still have fun in the pool?
The best part of my day is coaching. That's it, man. That's where the magic sauce is, where everything happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's at the Ithaca meet on Saturday. We had our softball elite. He won the men's 200 freestyle, and I got to chase because it's special. And you know, when you have those team meetings and you have 45 sets of eyes looking at you, it's special. So yeah, it's fun. It's awesome. Can't get enough of it sometimes.
That coming from Adam Zaczkowski. We have plenty more coming up this season, hoping that we get to throw him in the pool, which is throwing him home. So it's really a great thing knowing that if it happens, then there's a lot of success that has come through hard work, dedication, and determination. At the same time, you're putting him where he wants to be. So it's a very cool thing. For myself, Dan Tortora, Adam Zaczkowski, this has been an all-new edition of the Dolphin Dive. You can find this and so much more in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne College. And we appreciate you for being here, and thank you for supporting our community. Adam, as always, thank you.
Dan, thank you so much.
We'll talk with you all soon. Stay safe.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. And inside of these studios, you can see the awesome things that we get to share in the studio, the Q's pillow, the 315 sign, as well as all of these. So these are great for the holiday season. They're great to hang up really all year round. So you have the upstate in orange and blue for New York State, with the upstate right through the middle here where Syracuse is. We have the upside down light from over by Coleman's, which you can check out right there. Bring that to you. And we also have the upstate 315 that you can check out here. So make sure that you go out there today, grab some ornaments. You can get your 315 home sweet home. And they have awesome signs for Camillus and Watertown and Syracuse and so on and so forth, Baldwinsville and whatnot. So you can get those as well as your Witty Wicks candles that are hanging out here in the studio. So a lot of great stuff in the studio behind me, brought to you by Witty Wicks. Want to thank Witty Wicks for all that they do on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, right in front of Movie Tavern. So make sure you head out there today. And like I said, big shout out to Cafe Kubal. The Holiday Blend is available now, so you can go to Cafe Kubal today, any one of their locations, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You can also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. And once you head out there, you can get the Holiday Blend, your favorite coffees, your chais, your teas, try a bunch of different things, all of their awesome desserts and treats, and you can do that at Cafe Kubal, as well as by going to cafekubal.com if you're out of town, and you can order the Holiday Blend and so much more. So we appreciate everybody supporting local and supporting Central and Upstate New York. With that being said, I want to thank Bob Beretta, AD and DT, and that special with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College, and him and I having an opportunity to spread what we're thankful for, and then to be able to feature in the Dolphin Dive Adam Zaczkowski here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and get to really know and speak on a bunch of different topics, which I thought that was a fantastic conversation. So well spoken and well versed in the world of swimming and diving, as well as just as a leader. I really like Adam Zaczkowski, so I appreciate the time that he spent with us here this morning as well. And now it's time to get into the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. So for those of you on Facebook and YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, we're going to end this